Good morning, everybody. Got lunch here, eating the chicken and black bean burrito today. So we'll give it a few minutes here and see if we can get anybody into the chat here. All right, got a couple of you. Another burrito. Yeah, that's what I'm addicted to these burritos right now. So, and they're easy. So they're real close to where I work. So I just basically cross the street to go get them. But I should really start bringing my lunch to work so I don't spend money on my lunch like this, because it's expensive to eat out every single day. But anyway, they're really good, and I enjoy eating these burritos and drinking a booch every day. I shouldn't do it every day, but when I do, I enjoy it. So we're just going to give it a few minutes here, and hopefully we can get 50 people into the chat. Oh, there it is, 51 people. Awesome, you guys are quick. So talking about information and misinformation, I was having a discussion with somebody yesterday talking about this, and they said something about like, well, you're just misinformed, or they use that kind of phrase. And I'm thinking, if you have any information, there is no way that you have 100% of it. So if you have any information, that is misinformation, because you're going to be missing some of the information no matter what you do. And I tell you, some things that I see out there right now, a lot of people just feel that they are 100% informed on. I mean, a lot of it has to do with the whole sickness that has taken place over the last year. I mean, all these people feel that they have all this information and that they're fully informed on it, but yet they have no information on, say, consequences or damages or anything else. So they're totally misinformed on one side, but completely informed on another. And that's like still misinformation. If you feel like you are completely informed, then you should probably go and look out there and find some more information on it. And if you do find more information, you can tell yourself, yeah, I was misinformed because I didn't have all the information. There was still missing information out there. Now, a lot of this I look at, and I'm going to leave a link down in the description to an article, a Wall Street Journal article, talking about when shortages turn to gluts. And this is something that I have talked about quite a bit, because a lot of people do not have all that information out there. And part of that is that bullwhip effect that we have talked about, where different positions within the supply chain cannot see the entire picture that has taken place. Where some people might see a huge order, they don't realize that the person who is putting that order in is being allocated, meaning that they can only get so much. So they're putting in an order that's far bigger than what they would typically want, so that they can get that allocated material in. So if you're ordering, say you wanted to order 10 pieces of something, and the vendor who you're ordering from says, I'm sorry, we have an allocation, we can't give you 10, but we can give you, say, 3. Well, the next time you go to order, you might order 30 of them, because you really want 10, knowing that you're not going to get the 10 that you order far more than what you really want. These orders start going up through the supply chain, all the way up to the manufacturers, who are now pushing this stuff, manufacturing and pushing it out there to those orders, to all the people who are demanding this stuff. But yet the clear picture, if you were to look at it, says that we really don't need all this stuff. We just have so many people asking for it right now. It's creating this demand that's really not there. It's a false demand. It's something that we have talked about quite a bit. Now, go and look at the Wall Street Journal article if you can, and take a look at some of the things that are in there that they're discussing. One of them was like the shortages of cars. Well, yeah, when you have a whole bunch of manufacturers who cannot complete their cars because of this chip shortage, and they produce a whole bunch of vehicles out there that just sit and don't get sold, what's going to happen once the chips are available again? And here's the thing. Think about these chip manufacturers. Not only did they ramp up production to try and meet this overwhelming demand, but then you also have like the people who are in demand of these chips starting to build their own chips. Like they're going to start creating their own manufacturing of these things so that they don't come up in short supply again. Well, what happens when all this stuff comes online at the same time? There's going to be a flood of chips coming onto the market, and the price of these things are probably going to plummet. But at the time that it's taken place, it seems like they'll never end. Like there is always going to be a shortage of these things. It's the way it feels. What ends up happening? People start ramping up production. Just like, we were talking about it yesterday. When somebody says, would now be a good time to get your kids into the trades? Like, would you take your younger children and encourage them to go into the trades at this point, knowing the demand for the trades right now? Well, by the time they get there to the point where they really want to be earning a lot of money or being in the middle of their business as far as the trade goes, they may find themselves in a flood of other people who have thought the same thing and wanting to get into being an electrician or plumbing or carpenter or whatever. And you'll find that a whole bunch of people have decided that they're going to move into that position as well. And then it's not a huge demand for them anymore. You could find this happening in a lot of places. It was really recognizable in the lumber industry when there was zero lumber to be had. Like you could call 20 lumber yards and you would have a hard time finding OSB or CDX or something like that. That demand for lumber, I mean, remember they had people were wanting Congress to do investigations on why there was a shortage of lumber. And I said it then, I was like, just give it a little bit more time and we're going to have a flood of lumber hitting the market. And that's exactly what happened. And the prices plummeted immediately. I mean, it went from 1,700 per thousand down to 300 per thousand in a matter of 2 or 3 weeks. It was one of the fastest lumber drops in history. But now we're seeing the lumber prices moving back up again. I have a tendency to believe that this may not last. I think a lot of it has to do with a fear of things that are coming out of the British Columbia area, mainly the mills up there are in a very tight spot when it comes to being a producer. They're a high cost producer. So if the cost of energy or anything else, labor, starts affecting these mills, they start going into curtailments almost immediately. And once you start depleting the inventory, then you start having prices going up again. Right now, we have a lot of people who are focused in on that lumber market. And so anytime there's ever news that comes out, like the tariffs or anything else, I feel that a lot of the market has this idea that there's going to be another shortage. This is kind of the fear that is out there right now. I have a tendency to think that by the time that contract, because it's right now the 800 per thousand in the lumber futures contract, that's due for January. So come January 15th, I doubt we're going to see the lumber futures trading at 800 per thousand. I just doubt that. Now, I mean, I could be very wrong on that, and we could see 1,000, per thousand on the lumber futures. But I'm just assuming from the things that I've seeing out there that this fear of there being another lumber shortage will probably have dissipated by the time that January contract closes. So anyway, that's what I feel about that. What do you guys want to talk about? Can't produce a bunch of non-green stuff that may last too long into the reset. Well, I guess. I mean, we are one thing, somebody says, what's the easiest way to describe capitalism? And I said, well, it's when you take natural resources and turn it to garbage as fast as possible. I mean, I hate to say it that way, but that's pretty much what it is. And it's not this idea of let's just destroy the earth and whatever. It's not like that. I mean, capitalism is just about being able to produce the highest quality item and delivered at the cheapest price to consumers. That's really what capitalism is. But if you want to look at it aggressively, then yeah, it's turning natural resources into garbage as fast as possible and making a profit from it. Hello from California. Well, hello, California. So the booch today I'm drinking, Living in Gratitude. I tell you, I bought this one just because of the name of this thing, because I am very grateful for the position that I am in right now. I tell you, it's quite the change from what I was experiencing 5-6 years ago. My life doesn't look anything like it did. So yeah, I'm living in gratitude right now. Every day is a great day. Every day is a great day, even the days that are tough, because there's so So much to do, and so nice to be able to do it, It looks like a urine sample. Well, I guess it does. So, can't argue that. Is there a dollar shortage? I don't think there's a dollar shortage at this point, but I think there could be. Well-deserved home. Thank you, Acme. I really appreciate that, man. It was a long road to get there, but and it was tough. It was scary. You guys know it. I mean, I did videos on it, so. Let food be thy medicine, and the medicine be thy food. I agree. Putting in junk into your body, it really takes its toll on you. You can feel it after time. And I was a little hesitant as far as just committing myself to try and like be more conscious about what it is that I was consuming. And once you do start paying a little bit better attention to it, saying, well, I'm not going to try and take in so much of the sugar, and I'm not going to eat so much of the the greasy junk foods or something like that, you really do feel yourself being better, like feeling better about it. And it's funny because like after you do that for a while, and then you go and you eat some junk food or something, like whatever, you notice it like kind of drag you down. Like all of a sudden you don't feel as good. You feel like lethargic and tired and stuff. And it really makes me think like the people who have that continuous diet, like I had at one time, like if they have that for their entire life, like it's no wonder why you see a lot of people who just don't feel active or happy in their life. And I think a lot of that is probably due to what they're just consuming on a regular basis. Do you think moving some shipping containers up the Mississippi to unload the Midwest will help the shipping backlog? I think, honestly, probably the biggest thing that will help the shipping backlog is to figure out truckers. I mean, I think that's probably going to be the biggest thing, is to move those containers away from the ports as fast as possible. How they do that, I don't know. We kind of talked about this in the past, in that there is a shortage of truckers right now, and in available trucking companies to move these things. I don't see how that could last when you think about it. It's like, how long does it take to train a trucker? I think probably the major part would be is the actual equipment itself, like, to be able to manufacture and have that equipment and be profitable after the shortage is over. I think that's probably where like a lot of the concern would be. Like, do you really want to ramp up a facility to move all these containers and like have this like massive industry that can do it, only to not need that industry after it's done, after the shortage is over, after the backlog is over? Here you have like all this equipment, all these people, all this training, all this stuff that you have invested into it, but now it's no longer needed. And now what happens? Yes, correct. Well, thanks. I don't know. It's just kind of what I think anyhow. We'll find out. Well, so let's see here. It's been taking 2 weeks to schedule an appointment for pickup at the LA port, plus transit time. Right. So, like these things, I mean, these are, you think about this stuff. Is it going to last forever? I mean, if it lasts forever, then yeah, you'd probably have these issues continuing on. I just don't feel that it's going to last forever. At some point, all this stuff will dissipate. How long that takes is anybody's guess, and what kind of restrictions that the government put on people, like on the businesses, to prevent that from happening, who knows? I mean, that could take place too. I mean, I'm starting to feel that a lot of these restrictions and stuff is to keep that inflation going. They argue about how like they want to do something about this inflation. Why? I don't think they want to. I think they want to say that they want to do something about inflation, but I think they're quite happy with what's going on right now, and they're going to use it to their advantage, whether it's to inflict pain later on or to try and inflate debt away. I feel that this is a very well orchestrated shortage that's taken place. Again, you shoot yourself in the foot, and then you put limitations on how much the entrepreneurs can get out there and make things happen. If you put that limitation on there, then yeah, you're going to see shortages continue on for a while. Have you read about LA putting a regulation in at 21 that prevents trucks made prior? Yeah, that's one of the regulations that I'm talking about right there. You know, if you limit the availability of the kind of trucks that you can bring in, then you're going to have a limit on how many trucks you can use, right? That's just the way it is. But if you're like, man, we're going to put a, you know, we'll put a moratorium on that for a while and just say, hey, go for it. You know, you can use any vehicle you want as long as you can get these damn containers out of here. I bet you those things would be out of there in no time, you know, in no time at all. They can convert, but apparently not many find it profitable to do so. That's it. That's the same thing. Like I was talking with a few contractors the other day because we brought this up. Like, why don't they build inexpensive homes? How come they only build these super expensive homes? And I talked to quite a few contractors, and every one of them said the same thing. You got to be profitable. If you build an affordable home, which would seem to be an affordable home, there's no money in it. There's no profit. And so you have to build these super expensive homes in order for there to be like a profit in building homes. That's a sad place to be. Now, I know that's probably more to do with like the location that I'm in, but I have a feeling that this is probably something that's going on throughout the rest of the nation as well. I mean, there's probably some areas where you can build inexpensive homes and still profit from it, but places like I live, it's just, unless you're building a home for yourself, there's no way that you can build a home and sell it and make it an affordable home. You have to build expensive homes. It's just all there is to it. California Air Resource Board, 2007 or newer only. I don't know. Cash isn't an investment. No, you're right. Cash is not an investment. An investment is something that will pay you an interest or a return of some sort. Like a bond is an investment, rental properties are investment, anything that is like going to give you some sort of a return. Gold is not an investment. Dollars are not an investment. Bitcoin is not an investment. Those things do not pay you a return. The only thing you could do is sell those to the greater fool at some point in the future. Now, I hate saying it that way, but that's the easiest way to explain it. Because if it had a return to it, then it would have like an interest rate attached to it, or it would have some sort of rent. Those are investments. Everything else is a speculation. I mean, that's something that a lot of people should really kind of consider when they say they are investing in Bitcoin. You're speculating in Bitcoin. Remember that. Living in a world of lies, Best economic breakdown channel on YouTube, hands down. Well, thank you so much there, Strong. Is it Strong's Good? Thank you so much. I appreciate that, man. Cash has a negative interest rate built in. It has a negative interest rate comparative if you consider it to inflation. But does it have a negative interest rate to it when there is a crash and all of a sudden everybody is like fire selling off everything that they own? Does cash have a negative interest rate then, or does cash have a positive interest rate? I mean, think about when, somebody was just like, man, I got my jet ski that I bought here during the pandemic so I could run around out here on the river, but you know what? It's cold and I'm broke and I need some money and I'm going to sell my jet ski for half price. Tell me, did that dollar have a negative interest rate if you were able to buy that? How about the $1,200 truck that I bought, right? It has a negative interest rate when you make the deal on a $1,200 truck. Saving your dollars is not the smartest move if you plan on doing it for the rest of your life. But saving dollars in a time when you feel that there's going to be a crash or a liquidity issue coming into the future, that's when you want to have your cash. Because at that point, unless you have the dollars on hand, there's nothing you can do. Right? I mean, it would be easy to say like, man, I really wish I could go buy this guy's truck, but I would have to sell off all my other assets or a bunch of other assets that are losing value right now in order to get the truck. The only people who will be able to really buy that truck for that good deal are the people who had cash on hand when it happened. So it's not a bad idea to have cash. Not every dime should you have in a cash, sitting in a vault somewhere or in your base, but having a nice stack of dollars ready for an issue that comes up, very smart way to go about things. I mean, cash is king. It always will be. At the end of the day, what do people want? I mean, I don't care if you're, I don't care how big of a gold bug you are, right? If you are on the internet and you're pushing gold to try and sell it, what are you asking for? You're asking for dollars in the end of the day. All these all these like governments out there saying that Bitcoin is only for the criminals, only criminals people want Bitcoin. Why do they want Bitcoin in the end? What are they going to do with it? They're going to get US dollars. They don't want Bitcoin. They want dollars. Why? Because everybody else in the world wants dollars. That's makes cash king. There's nothing else quite like that. Will that last forever? I doubt it. I mean, there's going to come a point where cash is no longer wanted or needed or used. But that's not happening today, tomorrow, or the next day. So, I mean, I'm a firm believer in having cash. Yeah. Read crypto's definition. Why? What's in crypto's definition that makes it any differently than anything else out there? I mean, the way I see it, people ask me all the time, what's Bitcoin? Bitcoin is nothing more than a ledger. It's a ledger. That's it. It's a ledger that is not a centralized place to cancel it out or change it. When you think about it just as that, and what Bitcoin is just the availability to make transactions on that ledger or to be able to interact with that ledger. That's all Bitcoin is. I mean, after that, there's really nothing to it. I mean, it's just a computer entry. But having that availability to make those ledger or to make transactions on that ledger, once you get your mind wrapped around that, to think, man, I can do a transaction with somebody in another part of this world and there is nobody who can stop that. That's really powerful. That is a very powerful tool. And once you learn that, or once you know how that operation would be, if it was more like, I don't know how to quite put it, like more accepted, then you could see where it would be the digital gold. I sold all my Cardano and bought, what did you buy? And bought a house. Crypto isn't even real. Well, you were able to buy a house with it. Crypto is an ideology. I wouldn't call it a currency. Yeah, that's okay. I'll agree with that. Absolutely. No, I heard 10 dead, 40 injured. Well, what was that from? Hello, Uneducated Economist. Love your videos because it often comes from a different perspective. Well, I appreciate that. That's the one thing that I really try to do with this channel is try to bring up ideas that are logical, that are different from everybody else. And, sometimes it's not easy to do, and sometimes it comes off like, man, you really sound like you don't know what you're talking about. But I always bring the information to you guys and put it down there in the description for you. Again, like we were saying earlier, is it misinformation or are you just missing information? I mean, I'm trying to put stuff out there, like I said, that is different from other people, so you can use that information in conjunction with everything that you have learned already. Make your decisions on the best that you can do for the position that you're in. How is the IRS and the FBI seizing cryptos? I don't know. I mean, they probably are figuring out a way to get into people's wallets one way or the other. I mean, I can't tell you like the security, like the a lot of people take for granted how it is that they should secure their coins. Now, I have lost my coins. I had them stolen from me from a crooked exchange. I have lost coins because I wasn't paying attention to what I had done with the private keys, and I lost part of my private keys to an Ethereum wallet that has Ethereum in it. Now, how it is that other people have lost their Bitcoins, had them stolen or seized from them, there's a lot of, scenarios that could be taking place right there that would, give you reason for it. As far as I know, if you have your private keys secured, then you're going to have a hell of a time having somebody steal those from you. I got a super chat just a minute ago. Who sent that? Brothers Grimm Show. Thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate that. People are just straight up animals these days. Yeah, I see that. I mean, I see a lot of people misbehaving. Like they just don't. Like they don't care. Yeah, like they don't care about, anything. Like throwing garbage on the ground, just as simple as that. I mean, the lack of like appreciation for the world is just like, it's horrible out there. People just don't care. They have no gratitude, right? They're not living in gratitude. Your exceptions break up. Yeah, really bad, man. Also, What's up with Sunday Bingo? Sunday Bingo. Yeah, sorry guys, I had to put the kibosh on the live streams and bingo there. Don't really want to get into the discussion of the reasons why. It's not a big deal. I mean, nobody's in trouble or anything like that. It was just that it, I guess it wasn't appreciated from all angles. So I'm gonna just put it that way, and we'll just let it go from there. All right. Can you buy gold and silver with Bitcoin? Enough said. Well, yeah, there's people who will trade you Bitcoin and for your gold. I mean, or trade gold for silver. I mean, who is it? Doesn't SD Bullion do it? I mean, I've traded Bitcoin for work. I've traded gold or silver for work. I mean, once you build up your network, you can do anything you want. I mean, now, are you going to go down to the local coin dealer and say, "Hey, you take my Bitcoin"? Probably not, but you could, if you wanted to, you could find people who will trade Bitcoin for gold. Let's see here. My metal seller is out of silver as of now. I got a message from my dealer the other day. I believe he just got some in, so I should talk to him to see if he's all sold out now. Let's see here. Hope you have a great Thanksgiving. Really enjoy your channel. Well, thank you so much, Brothers Graham. I appreciate that. Um, have you looked into earning interest with Bitcoin on a site like Celsius? Yeah, yes, I have. So not to promote Abra, but I've been using Abra for 3 years, 2 or 3 years now, and they have a feature there where you can uh, get an interest on your Bitcoin and Litecoin and some of your stable coins. So I put a few, Litecoins and a little bit of Bitcoin into these accounts to see if if they do collect an interest on them. And so far over the last year, I think I've had it in there. Yeah, they keep ticking up every single. I think they do it once a week if I remember right. They add into the account there. So yeah, I do. Not much. I'm still like just playing with it because I'm a little leery about, I'm leery about sending my money or anything after having it all stolen from me from Cripsy. God, what a bummer that was. I had probably, I'm guessing 125,000 Doge with them at the time. And, Doge was like, it was nothing. I mean, at the time, it was like literally nothing. Like, I think that was probably like $15 worth of Doge at the time. It was like really nothing. But today, I mean, holy moly, All right, what else you guys got here? No one spends Bitcoin. I don't. There's been a couple of times that I have traded, but for the most part, I just keep accumulating the cryptocurrencies and silver. Yeah, that's, I mean, pretty much the only thing I really do. I do buy a little bit of stocks too. Not much, but I do have a little stock portfolio that I throw some money towards once a week. Bro, your service is tilling big time. Again, Sunday bingo. Are you going to be bringing that back at some point? And why did you get rid of it? Yeah, well, I just kind of talked about it. I would love to bring it back, but I just don't know if that's going to happen. I'm, I'll have to figure that one out. I enjoyed doing those live streams. They were a lot of fun to do with you guys. What else you guys got here? Someone wants super chats. I appreciate the super chats, but I don't do this channel to try and make a bunch of money from it. I'm just here to try and learn like you guys are. The fact that it does make money has really, I mean, it's done a number for me, and I appreciate it. Again, living in gratitude, right? If I didn't have you guys, following the channel and watching the videos and supporting me like you guys have, I don't know where I'd be. I mean, I really don't. I think I might have ended up having to leave this area, which is like just, I don't even know. Like, I couldn't imagine living anywhere else. So, yeah, I don't do this for money, guys. I really don't. Thank you for the super chat. I just do it because I really want to be here. Like, I really enjoy doing this kind of thing. earning the money definitely helps to keep me motivated and wanting to do more, because how much I've had it benefit the family and myself. And so yeah, I want to do it more, but it's not something that I intended on doing in the beginning. So I appreciate the super chats. I appreciate your perspective, Yui. Keep crushing. All right, bro. Thank you so much. There. What is it, Bowler Bear? I like it. All right. Do you think that a CBDC is going to make American prisoners like the Chinese? Yeah, but not in the sense that people would even care about it. I don't think people quite realize the freedom that comes from having a currency that is anonymous. That's really where dollars come in. It's an anonymous currency. Once the central bank digital currency is in play, you're done. That's it. Every transaction, everybody you've ever interacted with, anything you have ever purchased, everything, it's going to be up to somebody else's discretion of view. Most people aren't going to care. Right now, nobody cares if they use their debit card for anything. Those are all recorded transactions. Because nobody cares about that, it's going to be very easy for the central bank digital currency to come into play. Once everybody is using it and the people who are opposing it don't have any other choice, they will use it too, because they want to participate in the system. They want to eat, they want to sleep, they want to enjoy their life. And trying to do that outside of a central bank digital currency, once it is in full play, is going to be very difficult to do. One of the things not to get too deep into conspiracy theories and stuff like that, but one of the things that I had dove into for a while was the sovereign person, the free from government, people who understand when your name is typed out in all capital letters, what the social security number really means. You dive down that rabbit hole, and man, do you see how it is that the system is set up to enslave everybody. And it's tough. It's really tough to be accepting of anything out there once you understand how that works. It is, you really have to push yourself to participate, because what you want to do is fight that, is to inform everybody what's really happening and how it is that they have done this. It's usually so far over people's heads and such a conspiracy-minded thought that you just come off as just absolutely crazy if you try to bring that up. So I usually stay away from that kind of scenario, or at least the idea of it, but it is obvious. It is obvious once you go into researching of it. Acme Jetpack. It is deep. I mean, it's when you start realizing your birth certificate's on bond paper, I mean, you really start learning a lot about your rights and who you are as a human, and whether or not you are walking around as a free person. There's a lot to know there. I wish you wasn't completely right. Well, I wish I wasn't completely right either. Again, information and misinformation, right? Not having all the information means that there is misinformation. You're missing it. And I think that all the time. I'm always thinking, what is it that I'm missing? How is it that everybody disagrees with me, but yet I have, this idea? What is it that I'm seeing that's different from them, or what is it that they're seeing that is different from me? Yeah. Me too. Where can I learn more about that stuff? It's difficult because I don't know where to go. I spent years just listening to different people's perspectives, watching videos on stuff. I don't know if I found anybody who had really good full-on information, as much as you had to piece it together for yourself over the course of many many months and years. If I mean, it could be a lifelong struggle to try and learn all there is to know about that sovereign person. Be careful when you get into it. I know governments are not pleased with those who train or show people what that is. I know that they get very, very uptight about that kind of thing, which only leads me to believe that there must be some truth to it if they get that worked up, over people who are showing other people what a sovereign person is and how to live that way. Everyone wants dollars. That's the end game. That's it. When everybody is wanting dollars and nothing else, then it'll be the end. And then we'll have to set up a new system. It's kind of hard to wrap your head around that too. But anyway, what are we at? 35. Geez, I'm gonna probably have to go here real soon. How much for the booch and the burrito? Well, because because my wife works there, I get a discount. So the booch and the burrito together comes to just under $10, which is a little expensive, but it's good stuff, and I'm supporting the local community and supporting the place where my wife works, and I will be bringing my lunch from now on. So anyway, do you crypto haters really think we are all money launderers? Is that what you tell yourself so you can sleep at night because you missed the boat? No, I think people honestly feel that way. I don't. It's a bummer that so many people just take a side. Like, I mean, I understand that people get irritated if you're on the fence, so to speak, but you don't have to be like one side or the other. I mean, you can be indifferent about cryptos. You could be like, yeah, I bought $1,000 worth of cryptos. It may go to zero. I don't know. Who knows? I mean, you can have that kind of attitude towards things. It's not a bad deal. Those who like absolutely dismiss it out completely, like 100%, will not look at it, will not touch it, will not, well, then you guys are going to miss out on it. And if you make up excuses like that, then, as far as like you're just a drug dealer launderer or whatever, then yeah, you will miss out. You're missing out on a lot of information, right? Misinformation. So yeah, that's a bummer for people to take that kind of position on it. It's another thing to say, no, I've looked into it, I really understand it, I understand the blockchain, I understand where it's leading, and it's not for me. That's a whole other thing. Like, that's totally understandable. But to accuse people of being like up to nefarious, that's not right. That's not right at all. Boat is still docked. Yeah. So, well, I don't know if you're talking about the boats out here. These guys stage and wait to go upriver. So there's like, right now they just sit here for, they might sit here for a week waiting to get their position to go up and get loaded with grain or logs or whatever it is that they're hauling. Most of it's grain and logs. That's what they haul out of here. I mean, there's other stuff, but that's it. Agricultural products. There are no sides. Everything is analog. Very little is digital. Good versus bad is not that clear. So true, man. So true. Think about it. No matter the price, it's never too late to invest in crypto. That's right. It's never too late. I mean, even purchasing $10 or $20 or $200, getting into the crypto game and having your hands on some of it is, in my opinion, very important to the learning of it, and just knowing that it exists out there. I mean, a lot of people they dismiss it, and then one day all of a sudden it's going to be there. Like, man, how did I miss that? It's just like, well, you got to know it's there, and if you have a little piece of it, then you're aware of it. You'll pay better attention to it. I bought Sheeb, going nowhere fast at the moment. Yeah, I don't jump into into a lot of those, like, I call them pump and dumps. I don't know if that's exactly what was taking place there, but when I see this like mass push out there and everybody's all of a sudden talking about it, I back away. I'm like, no, I don't think so. I'll like, you might miss out on something, but to me, like, if there's that much attention brought to it, somebody's going to be profiting from it, and I don't want to be jumping into somebody else's profit just off of like, just a heavy move by the herd. Anyway. Do you think there will be a parallel crypto economy running alongside the CDBC? Yeah, I can see that happening. I think probably there's going to be like facilities that are going to seamlessly transition Bitcoin into CBDC so that it's like whether you're holding Bitcoin or Litecoin or whatever your crypto of choice is, going to the store and purchasing it, whether it's cash or one of these other cryptos. I think the moment that you're making the transition, it's going to be like moved into central bank digital currency and done that way. Whether it's done on like something like the Lightning Network, I don't know, but that's kind of how I feel it's going to be. It's going to be like a layer over or through the central bank digital currencies. Every transaction will be on the central bank digital currencies through like stores, through business, through stuff like that. Individuals, they might deal differently. They might deal with it not the same. All right. Won't CBD drive crypto a lot higher? I believe it would. Yeah. Guys, I would love to hang out, but I got to go back to work, which is a bummer. So thank you guys for the super chats. I really appreciate that. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. It's always awesome to see so many people coming into the live stream to hang out with me for a few minutes while I eat lunch. And talk to you guys later. Uneducated Economist, you guys let me know.